Okay, I think it's picking up sound. So this is just to show you, because at the moment I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do 3, maybe 4 little quick sketches, just to give you an idea of how quickly you can make up a landscape. So they'll be sort of this sort of size. Okay, and I'm just using, today I'm using Payne's Grey and Red Ochre, and I'm just going to make shapes. Maybe slightly taller up there. Now the beauty of this, you don't need a pencil, you can draw an image. No pencils needed at all. So you're not, the thing is to think that you're not actually drawing, because people are quite often afraid of drawing, and you can get instant effects. Once you get yourself feeling good about what you're doing, you start to sort of pay attention a bit more. Textures in there, just to give you an idea what. It's obviously going to be a tree because I'm heavily into landscape. I'll be painting here and probably use some of that later for inspiration. Okay, so sunlight either comes from there or here. I tend to favour light coming from the left. I'm not sure why. It's probably something in my genetic makeup. Okay, so you can already see shadow under the tree. And some of these shapes, I'm not sure how the camera's picking it up, but some of these shapes in here start to look like tree trunks, and they'll look more like tree trunks later. So what I'm going to do now is make up a blue. I don't particularly worry about whether there's a bit of brown in the blue, because it doesn't really matter. You can have a bit of brown in the sky. And in fact, sometimes it adds to the effect. And because my brown's got Payne's Grey in it, it won't necessarily be red, it'll be more of a grey. And I'm not worried about the edge of the tree at the moment. Now, because I've got this pale colour here, I can get a horizon effect quite quickly just by working into it. And a lot of artists are quite nervous about how to paint perspective, but if you keep doing stuff like this as you go up into the white, everything gets further away. And then you can bring out a little bit more in the foreground, a few dots here and there. And if it doesn't look quite right, rub it off, start again. And because I'm working on MDF, it's easier to rub off. If it was canvas, quite a lot of the paint would stay in the grain. So up here, I just want texture for me. Always remember, the sky doesn't have to be blue, the trees don't have to be green, and the tree trunks don't have to be brown. The whole point of this exercise is to get you to relax, so that you don't get depressed about what you're doing and it going wrong. So there's the basis for one landscape. So I've got some of my tissues over here that are nice and ducky. Now I can instantly add texture. It's not exactly Bob Ross school of painting, but it's, actually I think it's easier. A bit more brown. Because I've got shapes of tree trunks, I can just put a bit of dark in between each one. Well, this is by no means a finished painting. This is just to get you past the initial stage. Right, I'm just going to pause there now and then just do a close. Okay, so again I'm going to make this up as I go along, heaven help, and it's going to be about so big. That's good, that's it. I'm going to have trees up here, and I'm going to have a disappearing landscape over on the left, taller trees this time. So there's my foreground. This is just to sort of give me an idea of fields. Yeah, clump of trees, really dark. I think I'll add a bit more Payne's grey in there. Take it right off the edge there, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap here so that people will, I'll just move the camera, I think, so people can look this side or this side. So there'll be two views, which will be connected. This is where my darkest area will be, so I'm going to shove in a bit of shadow down there. Maybe a bit of shadow up here underneath. If you do this sort of thing, oh God, I keep hitting the camera. If you do this sort of thing where you have a shadow here and then light over the top, it always gives the tree the illusion of being taller, so that you're looking up under stuff, because you're not seeing this part of the tree at the top from the same place you're seeing the bottom. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I don't make any sense at all, particularly to me. Right. So, it's interesting when you make a video like this, it makes you realise how useful editing is. Definitely, I was thinking elm. Funny you should say that. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to have a light spot down here. This is why I keep telling you MDF, because when you wipe, it wipes. It doesn't just sort of push paint around. I'll probably do the usual path. There's a head on there, but I'll probably have a path coming around here. And just establish where that's going to go. It'll be quite monotone. And the first thing I do before anything else is get some tree trunks in. So doesn't matter what happens to them up there. Everything will change. And we'll do a bent tree. Another useful thing for this is, in England we call them cotton buds, Americans call them Q-tips, I think. A Q-tip makes wonderful twigs. In amongst the shadows you're going to have a little bit of foliage. And if I get some really dark colour, I can bring some of the background over onto the tree. And soften the edge here. And as I soften it, I'm imagining, well, a bit of Gainsborough, how the leaves are going to hang over. At the moment I'm not thinking any detail at all, I'm thinking masses of colour and shape. So I'm making the tissue into a really small, neat point here, as hard as I can make it. And put in a few. And don't do telegraph poles. Don't do straight up. Straight up's really boring, you know. And if you do them really dead straight, people start to wonder where the wires have gone, you know. At the bottom of a tree, it's very important that you actually anchor it to the planet. There's nothing worse than a hovering tree. Do you understand? The tree, the base of the tree, needs to really relate to the ground.
Yes, it's fixed.
It's fixed to the ground, so you've got to actually enhance that. Just a bit more light down the bottom. And make it obvious that it's actually growing from the plant. So you can add a few hints of root. all the time when I'm doing this, and you can't see it because of the camera angle, and it's probably a good thing, is I squint my eyes so that I don't see too much detail. I just see the shapes. And once the shadows start to work, for instance, I can see straight away, obviously, that that line is just not right across there. So that just needs softening just a bit. Because it doesn't happen in nature. Some of these branches up here are going to be covered with foliage. Okay. Back to the foreground. If you use the tissue really lightly, you can get the effect of stones, or the light hitting stones. A few more shadows under here, just to bring it out a bit. And then a little bit of something African going on there. Just change that to Europe. Is that more European? Yeah. I'll go back to that in a minute with a smaller brush. Looks better in the camera than it does here, actually. So, that's probably about it for a minute. Dark, more dark. But rather than explain why I like MDF. Okay? So off you go and do it. A little bit of dark down there, I think. Just
You normally have blue in just a little bit in this one.
probably, yeah, later. But I won't use a brush to put that in.
Just dab that in.
I'll probably dab it in. Just a hint.
Just enough.
Just maybe, in fact, maybe just go mad on it and then actually clear it out a bit, like so, and then add a bit of blue afterwards. Just enough to suggest that there is actually scar in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Just do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Ça va.
You've all got 20 minutes. And then I'll be going around giving out prizes. Okay. It's really quite exhausting. Better there than there.
Voilà, tu vois la photographie. Voilà. Très good.
This is good. Speak French. I'll have some French on my YouTube. Yeah, yeah.
What is the name?
My name?
Yes,
Stuart Davis.
Davis.
Oh yes, yes, twice. Yes. I gave you a card. I don't have any cards with me, but I'll give you. I'll write down my
The white
details.
okay. And so you do some demonstration on Facebook? No?
On Facebook, there
On
are
Facebook,
some
yeah.
links to my YouTube, and this will go on YouTube tonight with your voice. Okay.
Yes, I know.
And the dog.